Hello everyone, and thanks very much for joining us on today's webinar. We'd like to welcome you to this session on the Therefore portal, where we'll be taking a look at how this feature in Therefore works and see it in action through a series of demo scenarios. Before we get started with the presentation, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Christine Vukovic, and I'm responsible for digital communications and events here at Therefore. To familiarize yourselves with the platform we're using for this webinar, I first need to mention a few housekeeping things. All the participants on this call are muted, so if you have any questions during this webinar, please type them. Our Event Center platform has a Q&A function where you can type in your questions directly. You can find this on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Just type your question in the text box in the bottom corner. We'll be happy to answer your question at the end of the session. Alright, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's review the agenda before we get started so you know what we'll be covering during this session. We'll first start off with an overview of the Therefore portal to give you a basic idea of what the portal does in a general sense. This is to explain the basic concept to Therefore newcomers and make sure we're all on the same page. Then, we'll see the portal at a glance and review the core functionalities that make up the portal and the concept behind the technology. Of course, we'll also be talking about the highlights and benefits of the portal so you can really see the value this tool adds to the entire Therefore solution. After a quick explanation of the licensing and configuration of the portal, we're going to see it in action in a series of demos covering the three scenarios listed here. A demo based on a university using the portal for their students, one based on a local government authority using the portal to provide better service to their citizens, and finally a demo related to the healthcare branch. We've also got some additional ideas for practical use cases that we'll mention as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with an overview of the Therefore portal. For this, I'd like to introduce my colleague Ariane, who'll be giving us more details. Ariane?
Thanks, Christine. Hi everyone, my name is Aryan Naimir and I'm the documentation specialist here at Therefore. Thanks again for joining us on this webinar today as we introduce you all to some of the new and exciting highlights of the Therefore portal. Alright, so the main idea behind the portal is that it provides an easy and secure way to exchange data or documents with clients or customers who are not part of your Therefore system. So in other words, you're granting access to external users. Now, what you're doing is allowing your clients or customers to log into the portal as a way to easily view or download their own documents, upload documents, or fill out forms. Now, the key factor here is that these documents are all securely stored in Therefore. The portal provides a secure and limited interface for external users to interact with the system according exactly to the specifications you set. So you as the portal owner always retain full control over the security of the portal and the privacy of your users. So we'll go into some more detail about this later, but what we mean here is that you have the full control over what each user sees and can access from your portal. For instance, let's say a school or university would like to allow students to view their own transcripts or orientation information. The portal would be a good way to allow these students to do just that. So in this section, we'll introduce you to the main features of the portal. Now, these are the features we'll be focusing on during the presentation and also showing you in our demos later on. Now, the most basic of portal functionalities is, of course, the ability to work with documents. So this is, of course, where users in the portal can view and download documents in PDF format as necessary. Now that covers how users can interact with information already in the portal, but they also have the option to put information into the system as well. Now with the upload feature that was introduced in Therefore 2018, users can add information to the system by uploading documents and, if required, entering certain index data values. Now, what this essentially means is that the portal works as a two-way street, allowing bilateral communication between the portal administrator, like a company or another organization, and the users who log in. Along those same lines, users can also fill out forms in the portal. Now we know, therefore, forms have been around for a while, and you've always been able to embed them into a website to collect information from external parties in an easy and uncomplicated way. Well, the good news is that forms can also be used in the portal, so users can submit information to the portal owner in a really simple way. They don't even have to bother uploading a separate document. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the portal administrator also has full control of what users see when they log in. Now, that means that as long as the administrator takes the right precautions, the portal is a very safe way of sharing information and making sure that users are only seeing what they should be seeing. So, as you can imagine, since the portal is meant to be used by external users, it's highly customizable. You can really do a lot to change the look and feel of the portal to match your company or organization's branding, and also really make it look sleek and integrated. Let's explore each of these features in a little more detail. Now, this screenshot shows an example of a simple portal setup. Now, if you look at the area on the left, you can see we have sections for upload and download. The download section is organized according to the categories you've chosen to be available to this user. So, in other words, these are categories and therefore, but of course, with restricted access to the user, can only see the documents in this category that belong to him or her. In the upload section, we have different types of categories that can be uploaded. Again, these are categories and therefore that you've chosen to be available to the user. Now, when you click on one of the upload options, the user is presented with an index data dialog resembling the therefore category. So they can fill out the index data, attach a document, and so on. We'll see a little bit more of this later on, though. Now, what we see on the right of this screenshot is when a user clicks on one of the download options. Now, when this happens, the user is shown a list of documents in this category which they are allowed to see. Now, if you look closely at the index data here, you'll see that all of these documents have the customer ID as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, of course, this is done on purpose, because in this case, we've set this user to only see their own documents. We may have documents in this category for other customers with different IDs, but we've set the security logically to make sure that this user with customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that they can only see their own documents. Now, the other two options here are view and download. And as we've already mentioned, at the bottom of the panel, we see just a really simple search bar to quickly find what you need in case you're dealing with an extensive list or trying to filter out very specific search results. So you can see that the interface is really simple and easy to use. There's no setting for the user to adjust, no clicking around a bunch of options to get what they need, just a really simple point and click interface to do what you need to do and get on with your day. All right, so moving on to the second point about filling out forms. Now, as we had mentioned earlier, forms in the portal work in much the same way as external forms and therefore. Now, in the case of the portal, it's even easier to submit forms. These are covered in the upload section of the portal. Now, if I want to fill out a form, I just simply select the option in the upload section, enter the data needed, and click submit. Now, this is essentially the same process as uploading a document, but the difference is that with forms, you have the option to submit just index data without having to attach a document. Of course, you can have both forms and regular documents uploaded in the portal. In this case, we recommend giving your forms understandable names that make it clear that it's a form and not a document upload. So an example could be something such as transcript request form or refund claim form, something along those lines. Marvelous. So moving on to the customization side. Now don't worry, despite the intimidating screenshots here, we're not going to do anything related to programming. This is really easy stuff, and you certainly don't need coding skills to customize the look and feel of your portal. So on the left side here, we see lots of varied options for tweaking the details of how the portal looks and works. You can change simple options like background and font colors, some icons like the view and download icons, panel sizes, and so on. However, you can also fine-tune how the portal works and what options should be available to the user. So, for example, you can turn the paging on or off, choose whether or not the username should be displayed, and determine how the user can sort, filter, or group the documents they are looking at. You can really make your portal as complex or as simple as you want, really, depending on the needs of your organization and your target users. Now, on the right screenshot, we see something else. The customization option allows you to modify the strings or UI texts the user is interacting with. So you can really change everything the user reads in your portal to accommodate your organizational requirements or give users more or less information. Now, there's another big advantage to this, of course, and I'm sure some of you have thought of this already. Being able to change what is shown to the users also means that you can translate the portal as you see fit. Now, this is one of our favorite parts about the portal. It's so easy to just add translations and make your portal fit to your user's language in just a matter of minutes. You don't need to hire someone to change the code or program some kind of customization. Just change the values in this XML file and you're good to go. So, now that we've determined what our users are going to do with our portal and what their user experience will be like, we obviously need to make the portal available to them. Now, in most cases, it makes sense to embed the portal into your organization's website, so you don't have to send your users external websites, if you'd like. You can keep your users in the secure and known environments of your own website by simply embedding the portal into a page. And well, this couldn't be easier, frankly. Once you've decided which page you want to embed in, you just use a very simple web technology known as an iframe to dedicate a portion of your page to the portal. The portal itself is still hosted on the Therefore server, but the embedded iframe creates a window for your external users. Think of it almost like an ATM at your bank. That's the best way to sort of describe it. The ATM is connected to your bank system, which is on the bank's central server somewhere safe. The ATM software serves as the portal for users to conclude their own transactions, and the actual physical machine is like your website. So, in other words, it's a very limited and safe way to interact with external users, much like an ATM, which is connected to the bank server hosting all users' information. But the user can only see their own account information when interacting with the machine. All right, so now now that we've seen how all the different pieces of the puzzle fit together to form what the portal is actually capable of, Well, that's all well and good, but how does this translate directly into a benefit for portal users and owners? So, Christine, would you mind telling us more about the concrete benefits the portal brings?
Yes, of course. We really see the portal as having 5 main benefits. These are security, privacy, visibility, efficiency, and traceability. Put together, these 5 benefits form the core value proposition of the portal and of course our mission in continuing to develop the product as well. Let's take a look at each highlight closely to see what we mean. Alright, so first up is security. What we mean by this is the fact that the portal provides a very secure interface for communicating and transacting with external users. Similar to the ADM example, each portal user receives his or her own secure login credentials with one-time password options available. This means that each user is segmented into their own cache of documents belonging to them on the system. This is useful because you can use a single repository and still allow very granular access to your users. The password options are very safe too. Users can receive a one-time password when their account is created and then change it as they see fit. The option to allow users to reset their own password is also available, but it can be disabled by any administrator if they choose to do that. So, moving on to privacy and control. As we've already mentioned several times, clients logging into the portal can only view their own documents and of course only complete the actions you allow. For example, you can prevent certain users from uploading documents or restrict them to only seeing a certain set of their own documents. There's a lot of different possibilities here, so you can get quite granular with what users are allowed to see and do on the system, letting you as the admin or portal owner retain full control of the system. Offering this type of service to your users means you have to ensure you protect their privacy, an especially prevalent topic nowadays. The Therefore portal allows you to do just that with simple configuration options that are set by default to a high level of security. Another major benefit of the portal, probably the biggest one in terms of functionality, is the visibility it affords the portal owner and the convenience for users. The portal can easily replace established communication methods like email, which can get deleted or in most cases just simply overlooked. With the portal, information exchange flows directly to and from the repository. This is great for the portal owner, since they don't have to take any documents out of the system to share them with external users. We know that as soon as documents are taken out of the system, the owner has lost control over the visibility of the document. With the portal, you're just offering users a window into the system, while still being in a contained environment where you as the portal owner retain control of your information. This isn't just about visibility alone, though. By having users access the portal, the owner automatically has an incredible amount of traceability in the system to track what's happening with their valuable information. As the portal owner, you know exactly what documents have been uploaded or downloaded and by whom. The portal also maintains a full audit log to track users' actions if you need to do so. As a consequence of the highlights we've mentioned, we can summarize that overall, the portal brings you increased efficiency and reactivity. First of all, you're removing the extra step of sending information out to your clients or users. They can just access the portal in a self-service manner to access information without you having to action a specific task to do so. Not only does the portal increase your efficiency outwards, it also works inwards as well. For example, incoming requests through a form or uploaded documents can automatically kick off workflows in your Therefore system for faster processing or fulfillment. So even here you're cutting out a step that would normally need to be done by your organization. The portal lets you do this very efficiently by starting workflows for you at the point of contact. Okay, so now we've seen and understand how the portal is a very effective tool for your external communications. At this point, you must be thinking, yes, that's great, but how do I start using it in my Therefore system? No worries, we'll be covering that here right now. First off, it's important to mention that the poll is available for purchase with the business, enterprise, and online editions of Therefore. The poll license is purchased separately as an integration license, and just like with any other license upgrade, you just need to upgrade your core license after purchase to activate the portal. It's as simple as just pressing update in the license dialog on the administrative side of Therefore. Now, the best part of the poll is that this single license accommodates an unlimited number of portal users. That's right, you don't need to purchase a license for every single external user you may have. Whether you have 10 or 10,000 users accessing the system, your costs remain the same. This is a great deal both for on-premise Therefore, where you can quickly recoup your one-time cost for the license by allowing increasing numbers of users to access the system, and for Therefore Online, where the low monthly license cost gives you immense accessibility at an affordable price. We hope you excuse the cliché, but configuring the poll really is as easy as 1, 2, 3. For a basic configuration to get you up and running, you just create a search based on a category in the Therefore Navigator to specify which documents should be displayed. Then your configuration in the poll itself starts. In the Therefore Solution Designer, you create poll user accounts and assign specific search and viewing settings to ensure users are only able to view their own documents and control even which documents they can see. Finally, all you have to do is embed the poll into a website page and send the login information to your users. That's all there is to it. At this point, your users can already start logging in and interacting with the portal. Alright, so we're coming up on the best part now. This is where we'll see the portal in action. To guide us through this section, I'd like to introduce my media team colleague Kono to tell us more.
Thank you, Christine. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kono, and I'm the media manager here at Therefore. So let's just jump right in and think about some scenarios of when the portal should be used. Now, we know that the portal provides a secure, streamlined means of exchanging information with clients and customers. This is, of course, particularly helpful in scenarios where you have an established and continuing relationship with a number of clients. For example, customers or clients with a contractual relationship, long-term suppliers or vendors you're always working with, employees, students, or any other organization or group of people that you're interacting with on a regular basis. It's also perfect for scenarios where you frequently need to exchange specific documents with your clients. This could be documents like quotes, invoices, contracts, claims, and things of that nature. Things that would normally be emailed, but the transfer process can be made better by leveraging the functions of the portal. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with our demos then. As we mentioned at the beginning of the session, our first demo will be on education. So we've got our fictitious school here known as Moya University. And to give you an overview of what the university is trying to do in this case, let's take a look at the diagram. We'll first draw your attention to the middle two categories, transcripts and orientation info. These are categories that the users will be able to download documents from. This is shown by the green arrows. The other two categories, admission docs and transcript requests, will be used to collect information from the user. These are shown by the blue arrows. So let's switch to our demo server now and take a look at this. Okay, so let's assume that I am a Moya University student or prospective student, and I want to use the portal that they have set up for their students. In this case, I would go to the website of the university. I'll check out the page with the portal on it. So I'll sign in. You can see the portal is customized to the university. Okay, and I have a few things I can do here. The first is very simple. Over here on the left, I have view orientation info. This is a general set of documents that's available to every student. And they have general downloads, for example, something like a campus map that I can view here, just to give you an idea. Or a pre-orientation guide. Let's say I want to actually download this and not just view it, I click on the download icon and I can see it there. I can also view, for example, my transcripts if I see here. This is where it gets a little bit different. So here you can see I have my student number, student ID, which is 9876, which is the same one that I used to log in. And this is where I'm starting to see documents that only apply to me. So I can see my transcripts here and I can see the dates as well. Now, just to give you an idea of how this is different from a regular therefore category, I'll show you what this looks like on the administrative side. So we have here our case for student records and then the category for transcripts. As we can see here, because here I'm logged in as an admin, I have access to all the records. I can see that yes, the student we're posing at has, let's see, 4 transcripts in here, but I can also see transcripts for other students as well. As you can see here, we've set the conditions appropriately so that this student, 9876, is only seeing his own transcripts because, of course, that is not information that we want to share with other students. Now, if we look at the upload side of it, this is where we're going to be using the bidirectional function of the portal, where we as the student will be communicating with the university. So just to give you an example here, the first one is a submission form for admission documents. You can see here the student ID is filled in already with the student's ID, which is based on their login credentials, of course. And this means that when the student submits these documents, they are automatically adding to the documents associated to them. So this reduces room for error, for example, if the student mistypes it and it gets assigned to another student. Here we can choose, for example, what type of document we want to submit. Let's say it's our letters of reference. And uploading documents is very simple. We just see them there, and that's a submit, and then we would just click submit. The other one here that's more interesting is this transcript request form. So this one we'll fill out. We'll pretend that we are a student requesting a transcript. So we'll take a look at the form here. First, we need to see if we want to issue our transcript now or hold it. We'll say, yeah, issue it now. Standard or express, $15 is quite expensive. Let's go with the standard one. Maybe it'll take 2 days more or so. And we'll request 3 of them. And then my delivery mode, they can be picked up, faxed, or mailed. You know what? I'll just pick them up at the registrar's office. Student ID is already there. Perfect. That's assigned to me. And I'm going to enter my email here, just in case it's different from the university assigned email. And I will say that, yes, I confirm that I am the above named student, and so on. Now you can see here we have some fields that are set for office use only, and I'll show you in a minute what we're going to do with those. So I, as the student, will submit this, get a nice message, document was successfully saved, that's good. I'm going to sign out of here, and now I'm going to show you part of the workflow that started. So that action we just completed, submitting a transcript request form, started another action in the background. And that is specifically a workflow that the university has for transcript requests. So let's see, this is the one we just submitted, and I'll show you what this workflow looks like. So this is just a very simple workflow to process the transcript request. The first step we have here is to evaluate the application. If it's good, for example, the transcript can be released and then the index data is updated. If there's a problem with it, there can be an automatic task to notify the student. So we'll just do the first couple of steps here just to show you. So for example, I am the, let's say, employee at the registrar's office right now. I see this application that has been sent by the student. I say, okay, the application looks good, it's complete. And then this goes on to another task here, which is to release the transcript. And I can see here how the student wants to receive it. So if the student is picking this up at the registrar's office, that means My job is easy. I don't have to send it out. I just have to print it basically and make it available for the student. So I can say, okay, my task is complete, and the workflow has ended. Now, if we take a look at this again real quick, you'll see that it's already been marked as sent or complete in this case. So the system automatically updated it for that. So here we see a really great way to see how we can use the portal to make the interaction between the students and the faculty and the administration, of course, a lot better so that it works better for both sides. All right, so that was our first demo. Let's move on to the second example we have prepared for you. Again, we'll first be taking a look at the diagram to see exactly what we'll be doing. This is the case of Moya River Town Hall, a town hall that's decided to improve the service they provide to their citizens by investing in strong e-government initiatives. Now here's a snippet of the solution that they're using. If we follow the green arrows here, which indicate viewing or downloading documents, we can see that citizens who log into the portal have access to a repository of their permits the town hall has given them, for example, to build an in-ground pool, a shed, or a similar type of structure on their property. Now, instead of having to call town hall and have them fax the info over or even go over there to pick it up personally, each citizen would have a full listing of their granted permits right there. They can also access their property records from the comfort of their own home, saving time for them and, of course, reducing administrative overhead on the town hall, which of course is also good. Now, if we follow the blue arrows, we also see what kind of documents Moya River citizens can upload. One is a very simple form to apply for a garage sale on their property. The other example is an application for an absentee ballot, in case, for example, they're not in town when elections should take place and they want to cast their vote in this manner. So then, let's take a look at this from a citizen's perspective. So I am a resident of town of Moya River, and I want to do some things. I want to look at some information and also to upload some information on the portal of the town. So I'll go to the town website and I'll check out their citizen portal. I'll log in using the credentials they gave me. And I can see here, so what are my options for viewing? I can view permits that were granted to me. So it looks like I've had 2 permits issued to me. One was for a new construction. Maybe I built a shed or a pool or something. And the other one was for a renovation or alteration of an existing structure. I can see that here these are tied to my citizen ID 5566. So I'm only viewing my documents that belong to me, only those documents that have been tagged with my citizen ID. So let's see, I want to check out this permit here. There it is. So another option I have here is to view my property records. And this here is interesting because I have a lot more data to work with. So of course I have my citizen ID. Again, I'm only viewing the documents that are tied to my ID and no others. I've also got a property ID, and I've also got a street address, record date, and the record name. So I can see I have different types of things like the floor plan, maybe of the home, property survey, property map, floor plan for another home, looks like. And yeah, you can also use the search bar down here. So for example, if I know I only want results for 861 Borough Lane, so I can already start typing, for example, Borough. Yeah, I don't even have to type the whole thing. It's automatically filtering the list out, and it's showing me relevant results. Now, with upload, what options do we have? I have an absentee ballot application. So again, let's say that I'm out of town when I need to vote, when the elections are taking place, and I can't make it. So I'll fill out my absentee ballot form. Let's change this to 1985. Address. Okay, we won't fill the whole thing out, but I can see, for example, what options. Let's say it's the general election. Where should we send the ballot to? Just as an example. And I will be absent from River County for the following reasons. Let's say I will be on vacation. And the dates, I will be gone. I'll just pick some random dates. Let's say there to there. And I click here with my signature and I submit the document. Another very simple example. Here we have our little permit. This is a very simple one for a garage sale. So again, I'll enter my name. You can see my citizen ID is already in there. It's filled in so I don't make any mistakes. So this is at my property at 45 Elm Street, and my phone number. And again, start date, just set random dates here. And submit it. And there we go, my document is already submitted. So I can see here that as a citizen of Moya River, I have a lot of access both to the records that the town hall has concerning me, so I can easily view them and download them here. And I can also communicate with the town hall, for example, by submitting an absentee ballot application online, or even something as simple as a garage sale permit. Now, the town will likely have a workflow behind these, as we saw with the university example. So for example, when I submit an application for a garage sale, I would likely get the approval emailed back to me, or in the case of the absentee ballot application, this is usually still a paper form. So with the information that I've given in here, for example, the new address, the town will use the Therefore workflow to process that information and send me a new ballot in the mail. Okay, final demo for today. Here we're looking at Moya River Medical Clinic, a healthcare provider that has decided to invest in increasing customer satisfaction and providing a unique advantage against their competition by offering their patients access to documents and services online. So for example, the clinic provides their patients access to both certain medical records and any invoices they may have with the practice. Now this makes it easy for patients to access this information when they need it without having to call up the clinic. So this means that just like the town hall, they can reduce their administrative overhead. The clinic is also using Therefore forms in the portal in a very interesting way to deal with the issue of authorized consent when it comes to very sensitive information such as medical records, medical data in general. Patients can securely make requests through the portal for amendments to their medical records, and also request a release of medical information to a third party, like let's say in the case that the patient is going to see a specialist in another practice who needs access to their full medical history. Both sides, of course, profit from this setup. On the one hand, it's convenient for the patient to submit these requests, and they can do this in a very secure way without having to use much less secure communication methods like regular old email or phone calls or even physical mail. This is also great for the clinic as well, since they have full traceability of all the requests they receive, and they can track exactly when and under what conditions this sensitive data is leaving their repository, for which they are, of course, responsible. This is an excellent method for the clinic to protect themselves against lawsuits related to data privacy, and seriously gives them a big boost in their ability to comply with the myriad regulations in the healthcare industry, for example, like HIPAA. So let's then see how this looks from the user's perspective. All right, so let's say I'm a patient of Moya River Medical Clinic, and I want to access this portal on their website. So I'll open up my browser, and I will check out their website here. And you can see this is their homepage, and the portal is located on the My MRMC side of their website. So if we go here, we have a customized login portal here. So I'll enter my credentials, and I'm logged into the system. So let's first take a look at the documents that are available to me. In the diagram, we saw that one of the options we had was your invoices. So we can see we have some invoices here, maybe for some procedures that weren't covered by insurance, or just in general procedures where I chose to, for example, go to a private clinic instead of getting it covered by maybe a public option. So anyway, I can see here I have some invoices. I can see the invoice date, the number, the amount, and I can also see if it's paid or not. So unfortunately for me, I have one invoice of a very high amount that's not paid. So I can take a look at this one, and I can see that it is for, looks like it's cataract surgery. So it was $2,750 for each eye. So that's quite a big bill, but guess really needed that surgery. Anyway, that's just one of the options. So the other one I have is, as we mentioned, the medical records. And I can see here I have different record types. They're all tied to my patient ID, as you can see, 6541. And I have, for example, looks like I have my surgery history, my dental records, mental health records, vaccination records, medical history, and I can see the record date, the date that they were last updated on. So that's good. Now let's see what options I have for the upload. This is, of course, my way of sending information to the clinic, of interacting in this other method. So one of the options I have here is an information release request. So this is if I want to transfer my information to another authorized party. So let's just fill this out now. I will enter the record ID and say it was 6541037. Why do I want my records to be released? What are some of the options we have here? Okay, I'm transferring to a new doctor. Good with that. Yes, you can call me. Let me enter in, obviously, a fake phone number. You can email me as well. That's fine. So let me enter my email here. And we are releasing my records to, let's say, this is Dr. Mark Johnson. And the organization is called, let's say, Springfield Medical, something like that. And I'll enter the address, 123 Main Street, let's see, Townsville, fake state, and I'll enter zip code. I'll submit this. The document was saved successfully, and therefore, that's good. Let's see, another type of thing we can do is the record amendment form. This is another interesting one. So again, if I know there's a problem with my records, I can request that here. That's also very easy. So let's just say it was that same record. Yeah, call me, email me. Okay, I don't have to fill this out completely, but you get the idea. What is the reason for the amendment? Let's say that there's some wrong information, and I'll describe what the problem was. So we can say knee surgery date incorrect, listed as let's say 7/12/2007, but the surgery actually took place on 7/12/2008. My date is automatically filled out here, so I don't have to touch that. Again, my patient ID is here, so I can't make any mistakes there. So I'll submit this, and that's all good. So these are the options that I have as a patient of Moya River Medical Center. All right, so that concludes the demos about the portal. We took a look at a range of different scenarios in different industries and saw how flexible the portal can be in responding to the needs of different types of organizations. Now, before we let you go for today, we just want to quickly recap the benefits and sort of bring everything together. So, Arian, do you mind giving us a quick summary of what we've seen today?
Yes, of course. With the portal, we saw that security is the number one priority. You're essentially allowing external users to access documents, but you still have the peace of mind of knowing they're locked up in the safe, therefore, repository and can't be tampered with. Now, because of the portal's extensive customization features and user permission settings, it ensures a high level of privacy for system users, so they can be sure that their data is available to them and only to them. Visibility and traceability are also important benefits for the portal owner. Now, by being able to track user actions in the system, you maintain an overview of how users are interacting with the system and the steps taken during certain processes. Now, all of this leads, of course, to an increase in efficiency and a reduction of costs, something every organization out there is looking for, essentially in regards to their interactions with external parties.